Episode 6 of The Penguin was everything that we needed it to be. This was a really good episode, and if you've been following along as Edward and I have been reviewing this series, it answered a lot of questions that we've been having. We've been wondering how Penguin gets to the top, how things are going to go down, and kind of what the future of the show is going to look. And this episode answered quite a bit of it, and honestly, I am so excited for these final two episodes. I enjoyed, I think, every part of it. I never once looked at my watch, and everything that's been great about it so far is still fantastic. Actors are amazing. The writing's fantastic. We learned a bit more about some of the characters, and I'm kind of wondering if we're going to get a flashback episode about Oz and his brothers, just about how they die, if it's going to be something important reveal, but it could easily not be, and I'm very okay with it. I think out of all the Penguin iterations, I think this one may be my favorite. I like how they've given him a lot more of a backstory than he's had in the comics, and how his motivations aren't necessarily selfish. Like in the comics, he's always kind of been this mobster, a lot more out for himself than anything else. But I really like how in this show they've added a bit more depth to him, especially adding his mother and her being such a key part to the show. I really enjoy. And he takes care of his and his own. He always has to an extent in the comics and in other projects. But I think in this show he makes sure everyone in his town, his particular part of town in this point, Crown Point, and everyone in his gang is taken care of. He pays them well, gets them electricity. I'm sure he'd get them food and water. I like that. I like seeing that side of him that we necessarily haven't seen too much before. And I think that is what makes him such, I guess, in this iteration, a good character. And Colin Farrell just rocks it. I know I haven't supported the Victor Zsasz theory with Victor Aguilera. I mean, they share the same first name. And I know a lot of people immediately thought of that when he was introduced, and that's completely valid. I think this is the first time I've started to see some hints of it. I don't know how I feel if I do want him to become Victor Zsasz. I kind of like him as his own separate character. And again, I feel like I've only noticed this because I was looking to see if there are any hints of him becoming Victor Zsasz. But I feel like it definitely could be there. They definitely could do it, and I feel like that could be a really good arc because they continued Victor's arc in this episode, and I really like what they're doing with it. And we know it's gonna take a toll on him later, and I wonder if he's either gonna break or if he's just gonna get really into it, or just a separate path for him. All three of them I feel like I'm pretty okay with, but I would rather have him go down a separate path. I'm excited. I like where this show's going. I like the cliffhanger that we ended up on. I really liked the ending monologue that Oswald gave because I don't know about you guys, but it definitely won me over just because it fits. And it fits with his character iteration for, again, the show The Penguin. And I can definitely see how this iteration will give the Batman some trouble. I don't know. I found it really symbolic with the cracking of the beers. I liked just the name, the Golden Circle. I liked his message, and even though he's the villain, I have a feeling that even when he's on screen with the Batman, I'm kind of rooting for him. And I know what Edward said last week, where Oswald's kind of lost his code and kind of became a bit more of a dirtbag. And I like how that was addressed in this episode, especially by the other gangsters. He does say in this episode he has his own code. I do kind of struggle to see it. He is definitely, as he said, a hustler, and he will always try to get to the top. So I feel like as long as the other characters keep that in mind and always are on their toes, they should be okay, but it's hard to trust him. And I do still think he is a dirtbag because of it. But I mean, it's kind of just how the Penguin is. He is a dirtbag. He's a gangster, and he'll do whatever it takes. We have 2 more weeks of this, and I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to how this show ends because I want to see how it ties everything together and how it leads up to the Batman 2. As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, go check out our video where we talked more about James Gunn and his DC studios and a bit how the Penguin is a shining light amongst all of James Gunn's nonsense.